Alright, so I'm gonna be so real with you guys. December price action this year has not been the best for me. Last year we had an amazing year for December. We had beautiful setups coming up, A-star setups, beautiful entries, exits, funded accounts being passed, payouts being delivered within December itself. It was a period that not many people anticipated. Everyone thought that last year December would be a very bad month to trade, but it was completely the opposite. But this year, it's not been like that. This year, it's been difficult for me personally. Last week, I closed the week with a negative 1R. This week, I closed at break even. So for the next week until the end of the year, I've decided that I'm gonna stay off the charts, let the markets do what they need to do and come back in January. That being said, I did manage to catch this one beautiful trade that made me $3,000 on my live 200k Quanteco funded account. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you a breakdown of this. This is not a trade that I made profit on per se. It's a trade that got me out of drawdown on the account. So $3,000 out of drawdown. I was on $197,000 on the account before I took this trade. So let's go ahead and break this trade down so you guys can understand what I did and you guys can potentially catch the same move in the future, all right? So as you guys know, by the way, this was just before FOMC kicked in. This was on the 18th of December. FOMC kicked in over here at 2 o'clock, and then we had a massive dump to the downside. And then obviously I caught this trade right here and got out literally just before FOMC kicked in. Let's go ahead and break this trade down so you guys can understand what I done, all right? So as usual, I've got my New York AM session right here, I've got my lunch hour right here, and I've got my PM session over here. For my PM session strategy, as you guys know, I go ahead and look to take a reversal off of the AM high, the AM low, or the lunch high, or the lunch low. One of these 4 points are points where I'm looking for potential reversals and liquidity sweeps for a potential move in the opposite direction. So as usual, I marked out my AM high, my AM low, I've got my lunch high up here, and my lunch low over here. Now in the PM session, as soon as the lunch hour finished, we had a sweep of the lunch hour right there, but this sweep actually took place before 1:15. I want you guys to understand that 1:15 is my kill zone. This is when I'm looking to take a trade. I'm not looking to take a trade before 1:15 because in my experience and what I've seen from the charts, there's usually a sweep of a 1:15 candle that takes place before the move in the opposite direction. This is simply from personal experience. This is what I've seen on the charts, that whenever I try to take a trade from a lunch low or lunch high or an AM low and AM high before 1:15, I usually get one more sweep of that 1:15 candle before we see a move in the opposite direction. And that's exactly what happened here. We've had the 1:15 candle getting formed over here. We've had the market go ahead and inverse right there. And normally I would have gone ahead and taken a position over here and got stopped out. But because of market experience, because of what I've seen in the markets, I understood that we could potentially see the market go ahead and take out this 1:15 low. As you can see, this is the 1:13 candle on the 15-minute time frame. It's a 1:15 candle. We are most probably going to take out this low before we see any form of reversal. So as you can see, the 1:15 low got swept, and then we had an inversion fair value gap get created. I want you to look very closely at this. We've got 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle, fair value gap that got created within those 3 candles. And then in the opposite direction, we had 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle. 3 candles that got created in the opposite direction with a fair value gap. 1 fair value gap there, and then another fair value gap literally, as you can see, right over here. So 2 overlapping fair value gap. That in itself is an inversion fair value gap, and this is where I'm looking to take my trade, okay? Now normally I look to take a trade based on a retracement into this inversion fair value gap, but because of what I've seen during December price action, I've seen the market go ahead and simply invert and not retrace. I decided to go ahead and take this trade with a manual execution, all right? So I had this candle get formed, I had a displacement to the upside. This is when you have large voluminous moves in one direction. So I had this candle go ahead and inverse this fair value gap with power, with pressure, with volume, and from there I decided to manually execute as soon as this candle closed. Normally I'd wait for the 3rd candle to close, but I executed literally as soon as this candle closed. And as you can see, my entry was right there, my stop loss was down here, and my take profit was at a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio. And here is proof that I took this trade. As you can see in the mental markup section, I in fact sent this trade into my community. As you can see, entry was right there, stop loss was there, and then take profit at 1-to-2 RR. And then obviously I gave the trades management as well, when to put my stops to break even. So I put my stops to break even as soon as we had market reach this area here. And then obviously we had a small retracement right there before we finally hit TP at 1-to-2 RR. Now this trade, like I said before, it made me $3,000, as you can see right here. And this trade right here, I got my live 200k Quanteco funded account out of drawdown, as you can see right there, 200,000 back to break even, one more trade, 2%, and I will have made $4,000, and then I can potentially request a payout. Now, my payout date for this account is tomorrow. I don't expect myself to make 2% by tomorrow. I'm not gonna force myself to make 2% by tomorrow. So I'm gonna let the markets do what they need to do before January, and then obviously I'll come back in January, and then we'll get back to work. But that being said, the 200k live Quantec funded account is at break even. If I see a good enough setup before January, then 100% I will look to take it if it's an A-star setup. But as of now, I'm not in a rush. I'm not too fast. I'm gonna keep it chill. But that was the trade that I took. As you can see, as soon as TP got hit, within a couple minutes, FOMC kicked in and the market dumped down. Now, if I had taken a retracement entry based on this area here, I would have got stopped out. But then again, I shouldn't be trading so close to news anyways. It's a good thing that I got out. I wouldn't have taken that trade in the first place if news was so close by. I would have simply just deleted my limits, all right? So that was the trade that got me out of drawdown, and potentially we could see some sort of profit if I see profit tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Tuesday. My payout date is tomorrow as well, so we could potentially catch a move. Again, I'm not trying to force anything. We'll see what the next year has to give us. But that was basically the trade. This was a manual execution trade. December hasn't been giving us many retracement entries, not many market structure shift entries either. So based on that, that's why I market executed. There was a couple of other entries this week that I should have market executed on, but I didn't. I waited on a retracement and I ultimately did not get tapped into them. So yeah, that was my December performance. -1R last week, break even this week. And I'll be real, I am happy to take an L this 1 month, because every other month I've been in profit. I've been in profit, average 8R every single month. So it's been a good year, I can't complain, and 100% we'll see what the next year has to bring us. But yeah, that was the trade. I hope you guys understood what I was doing, what my thought process was, the reason behind my manual execution, and hopefully you can take something out of this and implement it within your own trading. Thank you for watching.